Yeah, I'll give a little intro before handing off to Alberto. But thank you everyone for joining. Seeing a pretty wide representation of cities that people are calling from. Thank you to Manila people for waking up early on your Saturday. Thanks for spending it with us. Um, to share a bit about Develop, the organization hosting this, that's developed the word with a P, but then also with an H at the end, .org. We're an organization that was founded in Manila in 2016. Um, and we continue today. We are centered on a mission around spreading critical and creative technologies in the tropics, and we do that through working in art and exhibitions. We recently spent a couple of years working in an exhibition called Kaka Computer Mayan, and we have an open call right now for a new exhibition series called Weather Lang, which is all about technology and climate. So definitely check that out on our Instagram or on our website if you are an artist or technologist looking to make work. We also work in publications, we build microsites, and generally our goal is to gather a community of technologists who think like artists. And we want to use kind of like technology as a practice to reclaim our understanding of the environment around us, to be in better relations with the environment rather than seeking to use technology to impose control over it. Is a long-winded way of saying our goal. So we run these series of online workshops and programming. And this season, we've been doing a bunch of like workshops that are focused more on inviting like technically oriented people, a bunch of like interesting practitioners who are engineers, designers, developers, working hands-on, but are kind of like showing how they use their practice in a more interesting way or in a way that maybe differs from what you normally think of when you think of their role title. So this workshop came from kind of like that provocation. Alberto, I was familiar with his work for a few years now, actually, after seeing it on Arena. It has been kind of a pleasure to see this kind of like community of people working around indie development, around the poetic web kind of emerge. There's this growing movement in people who are a bit tired of what the web feels like today and instead seek to carve out spaces of their own that feel more personal, that feel more intimate, that truly represent themselves rather than what corporations serve us. So when I saw Alberto's website, which is this beautiful home, I just kind of fell in love with it and enjoyed clicking around on every like nook and cranny of it, leaving knocks on the door, reading recipes on how to cook pork adobo, which I should really put into practice soon. Getting a sense of some of his photos from his trips. And this is this was like so lovely to see. It's like, oh, I wish everyone kind of like a home on the web like this. So I'm very excited to have him teach us a bit about what exactly that means, not just through like the basics of coding, but perhaps in like reframing our notions of what a website should be. So I'll read a bit about his description, so just so you know. Alberto Cinco Jr. is a graphic designer and technology hobbyist based in Manila, Philippines. In his pastime, he practices and feeds his curiosity about the poetic potential of the web and technology at large. And I'm leaving some links to his work in the chat in case you're interested. He's also available in the event description. But I'm so pleased to have him. I'm so excited to see what we create in this workshop today. Um, Alberto, I'll pass it off to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chia and the develop team for hosting this. Let me just share my screen. Hold on. Can everyone see my screen? Okay, perfect. Hold on. Just check this. And thank you to everyone for dedicating a few hours of your time to attend this workshop. So this workshop will revolve around building a home on the web. So we will be going through a few examples of websites that act as living spaces and we will be making our own handmade pages collectively in the end. And I think there's no better way to introduce this home building workshop other than a welcome mat that we can step into before we tour our homes and we make our own in the end. Hold on. And please make yourself at home. Grab a drink or some snacks. We'll be here for 2 hours, so we might get hungry along the way. I have a banana here with me, just in case I got hungry. Um, so first of all, I'm Alberto. I have been building websites since I was in fourth grade, and I've been doing so till today. I run my own personal website that I call my second home. And in 2021, I started an arena channel called Websites as Living Spaces to document and research about personal websites that act as spatial and lived in environments. And this is what mostly the workshop is going to be about. And so here's an overview of what we will be doing today. So we're going to start off with some intros with a mini icebreaker activity. And then I'll be briefly sharing about the history of the web, what the handmade website is, and some examples of these websites. After which we will be doing our first activity, which is filling out our own slam book. If anyone is not familiar with the slam book, it's a notebook that was popular in the early 2000s. It's passed around friends and it contains questions about you and your favorites. But this time we'll be using this to get to know your idea of what the home is. And then the next activity will be us making pages of our assigned rooms. Then we will then stitch them together to make one collective home. And then if we have time left in the end, we will be doing a show and tell of our web pages to wrap the workshop up. What you can expect to bring home with you are as follows. One would be an answer to why we used to call it a homepage. Second would be a homepage coded with your own hands. And there's a lot of hands in this slide. Third will be a handful of references that you can browse through later on for ideas for your next project. And before we start, some housekeeping reminders. Uh, First, if you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the Zoom chat. Please make sure you're on mute. But if you do want to talk, just please raise your hand. Please use the raise your hand feature. Um, and we will be playing some tunes in the activities later. So Chia or like the develop team will be posting a link to the Spotify playlist. So if you want to like add some songs that we want to play later, just add them in that playlist. All of the materials and all of the websites that I will be sharing will be shared after the workshop, so no need to take notes. And if you hear someone barking, know that it's my dog, not me. I do have a dog with me, so that's my dog. Please excuse us. So, for our icebreaker, I want to know what's the first website you felt at home in? Um, Chia will be sharing a link in the Zoom chat or Jep. And if you can please go to that link. So if you follow that link, you will be taken to this whiteboard. Please feel free to grab one of like the cards here and paste the screenshot of that website. I'll give everyone around like 3 minutes. While everyone's answering, this question. I can share mine. Mine would be Vexels.net. It's this small community of Vexel artists back in the early 2000s. So this is just like vector work. And this is where I found my first few friends online. And it's a tiny community and it's just a very supportive one. And it just like it's like deviant art, but particularly for pixel art. Um, but yeah, you have a lot of fond memories here. You have 1 minute left. Okay. So I'm seeing some very interesting answers here. I think a lot of them were just, those flash games from the early 2000s. Uh, Chia, I see Startle. Do you mind sharing why this felt at home, if you, where you felt at home in this website?
Yeah, I think in Unstartle you could like customize your person, and then I think the whole thing was getting more items and then unlocking rooms. So I think it's the fact that it was very spatial and the whole enjoyment was clicking around to other profiles and seeing how they decorated their home. I
Oh,
liked it.
I wonder if there's like a similar game like that right now. Because I remember back then I was a closeted gay. And I I'm afraid I would get judged if I go to these types of websites. So I would just like watch my sister play like Barbie.com and um experience it. Jillian, I saw y8.com, very popular website. Do you mind sharing why this felt at home for you?
Hi. Um, yeah, this was why it was my home for a long time until I grew up, and there's just so much to do, so much to play. It was my playground as a kid. So yeah, it's my first playground. Yeah.
You do love Y8. Like there's so much fun flash games there, violent or not. But yeah, this one's interesting. What is planetcyber.net? Who put this in?
That was me.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Hi
Hi.
Mo.
Hi. Yeah, I was just thinking a lot about nostalgia. And this one gaming cafe I used to go to a lot as a kid. Like my dad would like uh help out with like help the like fixing computers. So I feel like I have a lot of like memories going there, and then I would also use their website quite often to like edit photos and just play around. But they had cool little tools, so that's why it was pretty fun.
Amazing. Like the whole interface looks like it's like an operating system in a browser. And yeah, it looks cool. Um Eden, we have Omegle, Omegle here. You mind sharing?
Yeah, I first had like Pop Tropica because I also really loved that website, but I guess the more I thought about it, the more I was like, oh my God, just felt like a space of like possibility, which I think made it feel really exciting. And also like my first like interaction as like a young person with like other queer people, albeit like that's not the best way to first meet, I think, other people. But yeah, I think it's just like it's so like has such a strong memory in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, like I've had like some fond memories there as well. Like so super nice. So yeah, thank you everyone for sharing their answers. It's so nice to see like a lot of familiar websites and also new ones. And it's nice to see that there's a lot of like different meanings for everyone of what the home is. Uh, so moving on, I'll be sharing a brief history of the web. Does anyone know what this website is? Pop them in Zoom chat if um okay. So this is the first ever website made by Tim Berners-Lee and his team at CERN. It's very plain and simple. It's just an info page on what the World Wide Web is. So in today's world, one might call it performance because of how lightning fast it loads. It's less than a megabyte in size, which is quite impossible for today's standards. But to me, it's one of my favorite websites because it's properly formatted and a great example of what websites are at their very core. It's just a collection of pages connected together by anchor links, which we call the hypertext as we formally know it. And together with that website was the first web browser made by Tim Berners-Lee as well. And what made this browser different among the early browsers is that it's a read-write browser. What that means is that users are not only able to just view a website, but also update it within the browser. And I think that intent by Berners-Lee reveals how he envisioned websites to be. And so Berners-Lee imagined that every person would have their own website that they can go back to update with anything that they have gathered from other websites. These personal websites you would call homepages. But early adopters of the web didn't use this term. Businesses, the academe, and other professional institutions mostly use the web. And because homepage didn't sound professional, they opted to use front pages or overview pages instead. But then in the mid 90s, few people pushed back and created a new kind of website, something that's more personal and vibrant and electric. And they began creating personal websites and used the term homepages again as it seemed fitting. Then that spread around a lot of websites over the years. So in this slide, you'll see the familiar 90s web aesthetic that we know now. They all have homepages in them, but they have variations of what they call it. So one calls it their palace, one calls it their place, one calls it their culture corner. And I also included here some websites made by Filipinos in the 90s. You'll see one here of a website about their family and an archive of their photos, which is very Filipino coded if you ask me. And one is made by a teenager who migrated to New York, and his website he calls his city, and he calls himself a mayor. Aside from those, there are also some websites that experimented with the idea of being watched 24/7. One of which is Jennifer Ringley, in which she set up a webcam in one spot of her apartment. That webcam then automatically takes a photo of her or like the apartment every 3 minutes, and it automatically publishes it to her website called JenCam. There's also one called Fishcam. It's just a live feed of a fish tank in the Netscape building. So if you're not familiar with what Netscape is one of the early web browsers in the web before Firefox and Chrome took over. And I think one of my favorite books says it best. People used to talk about the internet as a place, the information superhighway, a frontier. The internet was something to get on. Now, people talk about the internet as something to talk to. It is a someone. One obvious example of this is ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. But I'd also add that the internet became not just someone, but also an extension of ourselves or an entity. And I think one of the reasons is we've moved from accessing the internet through only desktop computers to having them with us literally anywhere with our phones. The internet and the web has always been about sharing information, but at the heart of it is community building. Despite the tech being ever evolving, people have always found ways to connect with each other. So we can see it here in the neighborhoods and GeoCities where you can submit your website based on which neighborhood you feel like you fit in. We have forums, and then we have these niche communities such as the Quilting Bee, where it's a community of pixel artists just trading pixel art with one another, and then they stitch them together, which is super nice. And then who could forget Zanga or LiveJournal or Tumblr, where there are platforms for finding other bloggers that have the same interests as you. And we still have these with social media as we know now. The only difference is everyone's in the same three platforms, dependent on the algorithm to take us where we belong. Whereas before, there were much more options to discover and belong in. In 2015, writer and artist J.R. Carpenter coined the term handmade web as a reaction to the rise of corporate web. She said, I evoked the term handmade web to refer to web pages coded by hand rather than by software, web pages made and maintained by individuals rather than by businesses or corporations. She considers the 90s web to be handmade and even compared them to the print zines, as they both are independently published. Handmade web is a resistance against the fast moving and commercial web and suggests that instead we slow down and put emphasis on the manual work and labor of making a website so that we can bring about new ways to view and use the web. This term then slowly spread across online communities over time, and in the past few years, I think there's been a growing interest in these types of websites as we grow like tired of our feed and like our algorithm. So here are a few examples of handmade websites created in the last few years. So on your left is Rotating Sandwiches by Lauren Walker. So it's just a showcase of sandwiches that Lauren enjoyed throughout. And you may think like it's silly. And I think that's the point. Like websites can be silly and playful and whimsy. In the same way, we also have the one on the right, which is Nice Rocks. It's just a website of a collection of rocks um, that they collected while they're strolling around their neighborhood. Super nice. And one of my favorite websites is Self Noise. So the homepage here looks like a poem in form, but it contains links to pages that contain recordings of their experiences every day. So these recordings can be a set of photos that you can move around, or maybe even an audio recording of the place they went to. And but overall, I think the browsing experience of this makes you feel calm overall, which I really like. So aside from these websites, there are handmade websites also that mimic the spatial characteristic of living spaces that I'll be showing in the next few slides. But before that, there is this manifesto called Web Design as Architecture that I think perfectly captures the philosophy behind these kinds of websites. It's a good supplementary read for everyone later. I will be linking this in the materials later. But I just want to highlight one of the points, which is that websites are inhabited. So they become part of societies through the interactions they enable. They are homes to communities, to thoughts, and approaches. If we think of a website as something that is made alive by the people that maintain and use it, it is then something that evolves and grows with us as time passes. And in a think piece written by Laurel Schwartz, she said, a website or anything interactive is inherently unfinished, it's imperfect. Maybe sometimes it even has a few bugs, but that's the beauty of it. Websites are living temporal spaces. What happens to websites after death anyway? So if we think of our website as something that grows with us, then I think that also kind of frees us from the pressure to make it perfect and always on. I think that's where the charm of handmade websites lie. They don't have to be up 24/7 like these mega platforms. So take, for example, this website called Gossips Cafe, made by Elliot Cost. It's a cafe website that is only open from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. And when it's open, you can chat with people that are visiting at the same time as you. You can add music that you can link to that they so that they could also listen to it. But when it's closed, it just shows a night scene with fireflies and invites you to come back during their opening hours. A website can also be a building of a sanctuary where you can find a map and go to the many parts of the place. This is Ambient Institute by Chia. So one of my favorite parts here is the observatory page, where you can see an ASCII art of a tree. And I like the use of the simple drop-down list as a way to pick a fruit. Super nice. So can a website also be a map of links that you've gathered after surfing the web? And can that map be made using Google Sheets? So that's the one on the left, Wilderness Land by Christopher Calvé. So it's entirely made by Google Sheets, just perfectly same size cells, and then they made the map out of it. And then in the map, there's like links to the stuff that they've surfed around over time. Or can it also be a map of an existing place to showcase its ecology? So that's Permaculture Network by Gary Zhang and Agnes Cameron. A website can also be a desk where each part links to pages dedicated to your niche hobbies and interests. So for this one, there's like a dedicated page for the bugs that they've collected, or yeah, their different hobbies, which is nice. And a website can also be a floor plan of an apartment, and in each room, they show one object or feature that they love about it. So this one's My Apartment's Favorite by Timothy Cowley. Super nice. And a website can also just be a collection of objects scattered around the page. And in each object, when clicked, contains an anecdote about, or like a history about that object, a particular space. And it can also be a library that contains books of the books that you've read, or like a collection of books um that you want to read, for example. And if you're looking for a community of people who make handmade websites, know that you're not alone. There are a lot of people who make handmade websites, and you can find them on NeoCities. This is also like a platform where you can upload and make your own website. There's also Gossips Web. It's a directory of handmade web pages that you can browse to or submit your website. And then there's HTML Energy, where it's a community that celebrates the beauty of the HTML language. And every year they organize HTML Day, so that everyone can just gather and write HTML pages. And of course, we have developed just locally based here in the Philippines. Just very interesting because it's about the creative technologies storage. So before we move on to our first activity, and just to wrap this up, the internet has always been referred to as the cloud, because like early technical diagrams of when they were making the internet, they drew it as a cloud. And I think it's a metaphor for something that's always present and abstract. But I think the internet can also be a web. I think the internet and the web can also be like homes as well, spaces that are more grounded and closer to our realities, built and inhabited by us, ever changing, and grows as we also grow and change. And that's what we will be doing today, starting off with the first activity, slam book. So Chia or Jeb will be sharing a link to um where we can fill in the slam book. So if everyone can just go to that link. Oopsie. So again, a slam book is like a notebook that's passed around, containing questions about like yourself, but this time it's more about your home. So just please make sure make a copy of the second page and create one for your own. So this will contain some questions. They're quite interesting, but the most important one is this question, which will dictate like your answers for the other ones. Just pick one. Pick a room that fascinates you the most. Can be the living room, can be the kitchen, can be the dining. Or if you have like any other rooms that you find interesting that are not in the list, you can place them in the other. I'll give everyone around 10 minutes to do this. If anyone has any questions, please pop it in the Zoom chat. We have around 2 minutes left. Does anyone else need more time, or is 2 minutes enough? Yep, for sure. I'll add more five. I'll add 5 more minutes. Okay. Is everyone good with their slam book answers? Can I get a thumbs up? Um, or does anyone still need more time? We're all good. Okay, all good. Okay, so we can now proceed with our second activity. So what we will be doing, of course, the meat of this workshop is creating a web page that's based on the rooms that you picked. Um, so we will be making a collective home. But what I need everyone to do first is go to the link, to the spreadsheet link, that Jeb will be sharing in the Zoom chat. Oops. There we go. Thank you. Once you're in the spreadsheet link, please fill out like your name, email, and website link, and your nickname, and the room that you picked. And then after that, the folder name will be automatically uh filled out based on what you filled in here. Why we need this is because this is what we will be, the info here is what we will be using to stitch together the website, which will look something like this. So this is like our home, our collective home, and each of these boxes will represent the rooms that you picked. And we will decorate each one of them. And yeah, so super exciting. Um, so if everyone can just fill out the spreadsheet first, and I'll walk everyone through how to use the folder. And yeah, just make sure to download also the folder and column H.
Places you have been and needed, and the more that we try to figure through the answers, to repeat ourselves, to deny. Now you call my bluff, it's clear, and it gets so rough. Stone facing the light, the air, and the jagged fight. Cold air, the wisdom of the night between
I can see that the living room is a popular choice. So excited to see how this will turn out. So, um, has everyone downloaded the folder already? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, I'm just reshare my screen. So once you've downloaded the folder, it'll look something like this. Um, oops, sorry, someone's raising their hand. Oh, never mind. Okay. If you have any questions, please just raise your hand, and if you want to unmute, just let me know. So the folder is gonna look something like this. What I need everyone to do first is to rename the folder based on what the folder name uh that's in this column. So for example, it's living dash Alberto. I'll just rename mine to living dash Alberto. And then you will be seeing a lot of like HTML pages here. But don't worry, it's not that complicated. So the only two important HTML pages here are index and preview.html. Index, wait. Index.html is just a blank HTML file where you can code and decorate the room based on the room that you picked in. And preview.html is the HTML file that you will be seeing in these boxes. So the minimum like thing that you can do is just change the background color and change the color here. And then once you upload it to the server, it will automatically be linked here. So no need for you to do anything on this homepage. So just update the preview.html based on like what your room would look like. So feel free to also like decorate it. For example, add some more images here. It'll reflect in this page after you upload them. And if you're having a hard time coming up with like an idea on how you want to structure your room, we have some starter templates here that are available for you. So for example, if you want a two-column layout, there's one that's available for you and you can just fill it out. So can this one be like a shelf in a room or doors or windows? Oh, Esther, oh sorry. Let me just check. Oh, I think you just need to like add your name here, Esther, and then I think that's it. Oops. There. Perfect. Okay. Um, where was I again? Okay, so there's like this template where it's just a two-column layout. You can just change the color, change like the content for each of these columns. Or if you want something that can be scrolled sideways, there's also this layout. So it can be like, for example, you strolling a garden, can be like that. Or if you're feeling more experimental, there's also this one that's integrated with Play HTML. It's a script, super easy to use. I'll show you like the s- the HTML file, what's inside. So it's just attaching like these properties in the HTML tags, and that will enable you to like move things around. And yeah, can also like if you add can toggle, can be like light switch you can toggle. Or if you want something that can grow, you can just add can dash grow. So those are the things that you can do. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay. I take that as no questions. Oh, I can't rename my. Oh, you have to download the folder first into your desktop, and then that's where you will rename your folder. So the drive, and then you have two ways to code your website. Either you use your favorite text editor, or you can code directly on the server that we will be using, which is NeoCities. I showed this earlier, but Jep will share the login details. So we'll be sharing one login link for everyone. And then once you're in the NeoCities login, you just need to click on edit site, and that's it. And it'll take you to this one where you can upload your folder. So for example, I'll upload mine here. Drag and drop the folder. And then once that's there, you can edit it within this website. So it's super nice also, like it's color coded, like the editor. So it's super easy to use as well. Does anyone have any questions so far? All good. So if if everything's clear, like everyone can start, I'll give everyone like maybe 40 minutes to work on their website. Um, so I'll check back in at around 11:40 again, just to check if everyone's doing well. But in the meantime, while everyone's working on their website, I can give everyone like a walkthrough or like a walkthrough of how I made my website. Maybe you can get some ideas there as well. So, let me just pull up my website. Oh, it's here. So, when I first came up with my website, I was still living with my sisters. I haven't left home yet. And I had this like desire to live alone, even though I don't have the means yet back then. And then I thought of like, why not make a home just on the web because it's more affordable and I can just decorate it on my own. And so back then I was like super um interested with like brutalist homes. And I really love the idea of these windows that are like all just squares but all differing in sizes, and it's just fascinating to look at that like from the outside. And I thought of like making these windows to be like portals to my different interests and hobbies. And yeah, and you can see like the inspiration here and how it turned out to be like this. So yeah, my idea was to make my home evolve and change as time passes. And I want like the website to be like viewed like you're an outsider looking in and just touring my home in a way. How I make this is I just use CSS grids. If just in spec, it's just all in one div, and then each of them has a class called window, and they're just placed around the grid that I put in, just like a 12 column grid. Um, oh, by the way, sorry. There's also like a HTML file called links there. If you want like to find some inspiration to how you want to create your web, there's also like pages to the arena channel that I made or like some other arena channels that I find interesting. And there's also like some references here for HTML and some quick CSS tutorials just to get a refresher. And then there are also some tools. So for example, Unilist, where you can just copy paste these cute Unicode characters if you want to look for them. And then there are also like one-line layouts, like CSS layouts, and other tools that can help you build your website quick. So going back, I also wanted my home to feel like it's within where I'm in. So for example, I'm in Manila, Philippines right now, and I wanted that to reflect by like showing the time, what time it is here in the Philippines. So um but I didn't want to like just display the time. So I thought of like adding the shadows here in the windows based on the position of the sun, based on what time it is. So now it's around 11 a.m. So the sun is like around here. So it's casting a shadow to these windows. And yeah, maybe you can also add shadows to your websites as well. So why not? And then like towards after like I launched this a year or two after, I thought of like making this a bit more interactive. And so I added this door. So back then this door was just a link to a single page, just like a manifesto of what this website is. But then I want to lock it because too many stranger dangers. Just kidding. But yeah, so like when people click on this, you can just like knock as if like you're knocking on the door. And then when you view it from another browser, or like when other people are viewing this at the same time as you, they will see the knocks as well, and then maybe they can knock back at you. Yeah. Then I also had this fascination with like the windows that I've been seeing here around in Manila. So there's this like mesh type of window that's found in sari stores that I really loved. Just and I thought of like putting that here as kind of like a protection for like my bodega, which is just an archive of my pages. If you're working in a garden, maybe perhaps you can also add like just dots and commas as a way to represent what the grass looks like. For this one, the Garden of Lists, it's just like different plant boxes, and they grow as I consume more media over time. And then there's this one, just a simple page of just an ingredient of the adobo that I personally like, because there's for different types of adobo. And this is the kind of adobo that I like, just kind of like in the salty side and a bit more tangy in a way, because some like it sweet. Yeah, if anyone here likes adobo, please pop in the chat what type of adobo you like. Yeah. So yeah, we have around like 30 minutes left. I'll shut up and leave you guys to it. If anyone has any questions, please pop in the Zoom chat. Oh, I love pork adobo so much. Oh, the preview.html is the one that will be shown when it's linked in the home pages. So this is gonna be our collective home. So when you view this, it's the same as this one that's in here. So you can change the color here, you can change the text here based on how your room looks like. So for example, if your room is a garden, you can change the text from sample to maybe a garden by Eden, for example. And then once you upload it to NeoCities, it'll automatically um appear here. We will be the one linking all of your websites here. So no need to like update this one. Just update the preview.html.
fading true. I met you. What my mind. Terrible. Loving home. I'm just laughing. 'Cause I feel you in my mind all the time. 'Cause I see you in my hands every day. You got me running, 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 just like you got me running, 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 just like fading true. I met you. What my mind. Terrible. Loving home. I'm just laughing. 'Cause I feel you in my mind all the time. 'Cause I see you in my hands every day. You got me running, 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 just like you. You got me running, 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 just like you. She does just what she pleases, 'cause she's happy on her own. And she picks up all the pieces. She's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
Yeah, she's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
made it all seem so easy. Till she did it on her own. There's so much she can teach me. She's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
Yeah, she's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
Till she she's better off than she has ever been. Now she's made at peace with everything. Yeah, she's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
Yeah, she's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
Yeah, she's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
She's going home.
Baby, I'm home, I'm home, I'm home.
Left it in the past, but now it's here to last. Nuanung, nuanung, anung, nunganung, anung, 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 nuanung, anung, 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 ani, anung, nuanung, anung, anung, nudang akaw maglumi, nuanu, tulog anung, anung, anung,
Hi everyone, we have around 10 minutes left. How is everyone doing? I'm just refreshing the homepage and it's coming along really nicely. Um, I'm excited to see them in a bit. If anyone needs any help, please reach out via the Zoom chat. Otherwise, I'll pop in here again at 11:45 a.m. You can also start uploading your work in the NeoCities dashboard if you're already done. The login details are in the Zoom chat.
that you sing these dreams. Who would even know what to say? Even if you feel free. Cause now my mind's made up. There's no looking back now. And now your mind's made up. So let's leave together. Won't stop. Slow down. Who could really know you now? Now that you've seen these dreams. Who would even know what to say? Even if you feel free. Cause now my mind's made up. There's no looking back now. And now your mind's made up. So let's leave together. Hard times. Won't stop. Lifetimes. Slow down.
Sorry, I think one thing I forgot to mention was is in the preview.html. You also have to change the link from slash room dash name to the folder name that's in the spreadsheet. Then you can just update that and it'll automatically link in this homepage. Sorry for that. Okay, so I think we have like 15 minutes left before we end the workshop, and I'd like to like um make time for some show and tell. Is anyone finished already with their work that they want to show to um the class? Or is everyone still working on their rooms? I'll take a look, Eden. See if I can fix it. Is yours already uploaded in the NeoCities server? Yeah, okay. Check. Yeah, no worries, Ray. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, if like anyone still needs more time, you can just continue working on it, and we'll probably showcase this after everyone's done. Ooh, let me check. Yes. Oh, I think it works. Eden, like when I click onto your window here, it goes to your. Is this where it's supposed to link to, Eden? I'll check yours also, Devin. I see why it's not linking now. Um, is this what's supposed to look like, Devin? That's weird. This is super cute. Anyway, let me just fix the link here. Oh, this is nice. Mo, do you mind sharing like um what your page is about?
Yeah, I wanted to actually add more Christmas lights because I'm feeling very festive right now. Um, but I was having trouble like finding like transparent gifts. So yeah, I was kind of like trying to embody a yeah, that's my cat. I was thinking of like what you mentioned earlier about like security and or like strangers coming to your website. So I was just thinking like what if she was the bouncer um for my bedroom.
That's
Um
so cute.
so there's that. And I just used the template.
Yeah, amazing. How old is your cat?
She's 4 now. They
Oh,
grow up so fast.
so cute. Did you have like any realizations like while working on your page, while you were coding?
Yeah. Um, I felt really rusty because I was like I'm trying to remember a lot of the like tags for like really easy HTML. Um, but it's been like it was nice because I want to like dedicate more time to learning. Um, and so that's why I wanted to take this workshop. So I really appreciate, the work, your work, and also everyone else at Develop PH. Um, yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mo. This looks super cute. I like the idea of your cats being the bouncer for your bedroom. Um, well, this one's interesting. Isa, do you mind sharing? Oh, this is nice. You mind sharing why you
Okay.
chose to make your work like this?
Hi, yeah. So I'm sad. I couldn't really. I had a hard time, like for the maybe half or long more of the time that we had to like so choose a room and then describe why we like that. I couldn't like I couldn't even pick a room because I'm used to living in a smaller space. Like I live in a condo or I lived in a studio unit and now I live in like a one bedroom na we don't really have space for a living room. So for me, what I really try to prioritize when I look for a space is like the window. Like I have to have a view of nature. Um, for the longest time, the bottom left view was my view, Pasig River. Um, uh, the top images are a little more not literal. They're not my view. I would love to have a beach for a view, but for now, maybe not. But yeah, my the bottom right is my current view now. So I guess for me, something that's super important talaga is just have a view of like nature. Even if I can't take care of plants myself, because they don't survive. At least sana outside, there's like a view of like nature, even if I'm within a city. So
Yeah, this is super cool. I also don't have a green thumb. My plants die on me
I know.
also. But anyway, it's so nice seeing like uh how you use the grid as kind of like a way to show a window and like the many different views that you want your window to look like. So this is super nice.
Thank you.
And then we have this kitchen, which I think the background is someone from the bear. Gab, you mind sharing?
Hello, is my mic okay?
Yep.
So, um, yeah, I chose the kitchen because it's one of the few rooms. It's one of the rooms that I really enjoy being in, like cooking or like even just cleaning, like cleaning up. So it doesn't really work on the NeoCities website, but
I'm so sorry about that.
um no, it's fine. But like locally, if you can imagine it, the stove, if you click on it, if you click on the fire button, it would grow. So just imagine it. And then all those elements, the images, I chose onions because I love onions, and you can basically move it around. So you could simulate like you're chopping onions on a chopping board. So yeah,
Super nice. Also,
uh,
like I agree with Chia. It's a super nice way of super smart way of using Play HTML. Like I remember if you guys play Sims, how like anytime your house could get on fire because of the stove. And yeah, just the idea of like the stove getting the fire getting bigger. It's so nice. Um, and Chia, do you want to share yours as well?
Yeah, I wanted to choose the banyo because I spent a lot of time there and I didn't think anyone would choose it. But I think there's one other one. This is a very light colored website where there's just a pool of water, which you might imagine as the sink or the toilet bowl. And I have a few words and sparkles there. And I wanted to imagine the bathroom as a place of meditation and relaxation because I feel like when we're there, it's one of the only times where we can be free with our thoughts. But then I think a lot of people, just scroll TikTok or something on the toilet, which I do a lot. But I want to imagine it as a more serene place. In my bathroom, I didn't have time to add it, but then I have a little window looking out to the street. So I hope to look out more and meditate and think more in the bathroom and flush all the bad thoughts away, refresh myself. And if you click the flush, it like wipes everything on the page away and reloads it.
Ooh,
So you can go banyo again.
that's so cool. Yeah, same for me as well. Like I just scroll TikTok whenever I'm in the banyo. It's just super nice. Like, how do you come up with the animation of like just this fuzzy um pattern?
I added a GIF. I that's just like tiling over. I think it's just like a texture map that's black and white. Um,
Amazing,
yeah, so it just goes over everything, makes it look like a dream.
amazing. Thank you, Chia. Um, does anyone else want to share their rooms? These are super nice. Like, I love seeing everyone's rooms and love how it looks comes together. Oh, Esther, let me refresh the
I
page.
don't know if I actually read it might be one of those gray samples. I realized that was like the last step. Probably just didn't. Um so one of these random gray sample rooms.
Maybe um
Let's see.
maybe this one. So it's linking to as living Esther. How about we just type it
Mm,
here.
okay.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. Turns out my coding skills is very, very rusty. Um, but I have appreciated a lot, which is just like the writing exercises that we did at the beginning. Um, And I actually also like follow Laurel Schwartz, and I really loved her thinking about around spaces. So this is why I like took the class today. Um, and I think that for a living room, the first thing I want to do is have music and just like have a calm space. I think a lot of my friends also are musicians, so it really makes me think of like oh, they either play an instrument or we just always have music in our spaces to um it can be really soft in the background or we're really just like intentionally listening to it. So living room is something I think is like a shared space to like share that kind of music. This is just something I listen to be just like, oh, this is my peaceful in the background kind of music when I'm doing things. But um yeah. Um I think like
This is so nice.
yeah, it's just like
Yeah,
kind of
this is
basic
so
about like
cute.
the music. Um, but the thing, yeah, execution versus thought process was like hard to marry, but that's why I embedded that iframe in there. And I think when I pick living room, and when I was like writing more about it, it was really interesting. The writing prompt was just like, oh, what are like three objects that you usually find in this room? And it's like, oh, for me it was like a musical instrument and books, because a lot of this shows like what someone is willing to share with just like, well, a stranger or someone new coming into a living room. So it into their psyche a little bit, I guess. It's like what you show and what you share.
Yeah. Do you also play like a musical instrument? You play the piano?
Yeah, I play the piano, and I play the flute. So if there are any other flutists, flautists.
I do want to learn how to play like an instrument. So this is super nice. Thank you so much, Esther.
Yeah.
Um, and I think we have like, okay, so it's already 12. But yeah, thank you all so much for attending the workshop. I think like from what I'm seeing, I think everyone like had fun in a way, and it's so nice to see how we have different ways of viewing our homes and like and just playing around with different rooms. And I hope like I get to see more of like your work in the future. And if you still are like working on your rooms, please feel free to do so after this workshop, and then we'll publish them afterwards. But yeah, thank you so much. I hope you guys have like a really restful day ahead. It's a Saturday here in Manila, and pretty much weekend there in the US as well. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, and from Develop, thank you, Alberto, for hosting this and putting together this beautiful site. And thank you everyone for doing these exercises, thinking through things with us, reimagining what a webpage could be. Again, we'll send all material out afterwards, so feel free to continue working. And I'm glad to have this collective artifact that we can all make together. We'll send out materials on the event page and by your email. And if you have any questions, the develop folks are available on Discord. I'm going to send a link in case you use it. Alberta, is there a good way people can reach you?
You can follow me on Instagram, or you can just follow me in Arena. I'll just post my Instagram here and my Arena. Um, but yeah, if you need like if you have any questions about the handmade web or like any of like references that you or if you want to share just anything that you found really cool, I would love to hear it. But thank you, Chia and Develop Team for hosting this. And it's lovely to see everyone do handmade pages and yeah, it's nice meeting everyone.